Hi guys, my name is Destiny and this is my Flosstube Stitching with Bird. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. I appreciate you being here. If you like what you see today, I would appreciate if you would like, comment, and subscribe. I'm still trying to build up my subscribers since I am fairly new, so I would appreciate if you would do all the things. So today is May 5th of 2026, so this is my 6th Flosstube and my April update. So I will just jump right in. The very first thing that I usually talk about is FFOs, and I very rarely ever have them, so I don't have any surprise. So that's all for that. New starts, I do have one new start, and I had talked about this one in my last Flosstube. It was one of the patterns that I had purchased for my LNS, and this is Harbor Haven by the Bay Needle Art, and I'm doing this on 14 count Touch of Blue, and this is Ada. So I just have a little baby start. This is 189 stitches, and that's as far as I got. So that's all for my new starts. That was all that I was able to get in. So I will start talking about whips. The first thing that I worked on was the Supernatural Style by Witchy Stitcher, and I'm doing this on 18 count white Ada. And this one is still extremely dirty. I have showed this a couple times because it is one of my whip go goals, and I've taken it camping with me. So I was actually able to complete the vampire frame on this one, and I will fold it and show you a little bit closer. So I finished this frame, and I did, let's see, 764 stitches on it. So that was what put me over 1,000 stitches. So I completed my whip go goal. So that is all for that one. The next one that I worked on was a new start that I had started last month. This is Cherry Blossom Creek by Dimensions, and I'm using all of the kit supplies. So this is 16 count blue Ada that came with the kit, and it's still very small. I did 63 stitches on this one, and I added in, like, this is a tree branch, and then some more into this bottom square here. And I'll move on. So the next thing that I worked on was my Haid Sal for 2026, and I'm doing this on 25 count even weave easy gridded fabric. I did work on this the very first week of May, so this also kind of includes the first week of May. This week, obviously. I added 1,046 stitches into this, and this is the very bottom of page 1. So I made it to the bottom, which I'm very excited about. Hopefully I'll be able to get my first page finish. So that's where that is. The next thing that I worked on was the Flower Day Sal by Carolyn Manning. I apologize. I mispronounced that. I'm doing this on 18 count Meditation by Picture This Plus. And this was one that I had actually started, and I was trying to do my own color conversions, and I didn't like how the floss was coming out on this particular fabric. So I frogged it, and then I restarted it. So I did 85 stitches, and I got 1 flower. It's kind of hard to see because it's kind of a pale yellow, but that's what I got. So the very last thing that I worked on was part of this week's update, which I figured I would just include because I already was working on it. This is the Deadly Aquarium Sal by Lola Crow, and I'm doing this on 14 count white Ada, and I dyed it myself. I did 74 stitches, and I will show you a little bit closer. this is what I worked on. I added the little purple and red, like coral things in the bottom. My hand is shaky, so I apologize. So my very last thing was the total for April and the very first week of May was 2,257 stitches that I was able to complete. And that was all that I worked on. So I will move on to haul. There was a sale for Easter with Hade. So I actually purchased 4 Hade patterns. They are digital, so I will have to add the photos in, but the first one that I purchased was Hot Air Balloon, and the artwork was by Greg Giordano, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, but I tried my best to like figure out how to pronounce it before I started this, so I didn't try to butcher it a lot. The next one is called Spring Lake Cottage, and the artwork is by Dominic Davison. The next one after that is Tarot Town, and the artwork is by Shiro Marchetti, I believe is how you pronounce it. And then the last one is Barnyard Animals, and the artwork is by Donna Gelsinger, and those were what I purchased. I did also I joined the new Lola Crow Stitch Along. Words are hard today. I apologize. I was able to purchase fabric for that, so I'm going to start. It's called the Museum After Midnight, styled by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. And then I did actually purchase the fabric to start the hot air balloon pattern, so I will also be getting that with the other fabric. So it's not here yet, or else I would show you, but it will hopefully be here by the end of this week. So that was all that I had for haul. So next I will talk about plans. So my plans, I say plans loosely because usually I say something and then sometimes I don't follow through. But yeah. My plans were kind of to start the museum so I could hopefully catch up and be done in time to finish when the first part comes out. I decided to wait until after the frame came out to start working on that, or join it, I guess. I wasn't sure that I was going to like it, but I do, so I joined it on it. The next one is to continue to work on some of my WIPGO goals. The Deadly Aquarium and the Supernatural were the first 2 calls for January. I'm obviously very behind on my board, but my goals were to do 1,000 stitches on each of my whips that I put on my board, and then there were some that I put for like the black work cells that I'm working on was to work 7 days on those because I don't count stitches on them. So I have completed 2 goals out of my WIPGO board, and I would like to finish another one hopefully here soon. I did show one that I was working on last time, which was the Disney Kingdom, but I haven't picked that one up again. And then I wanted to work more on my Hade cell and try to get a page finish so I can hopefully start another page. And I know I'm very, very behind on that. School is kind of kicking my butt and taking up my time. So my goal, I would like to at least get the 6 pages finished, which is not looking very well at the moment, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll have more time. So that's all for plans. I wanted to kind of give another life update. On Friday, May 1st, I walked the stage for my associate's degree, and they had like a smaller ceremony because I got a certification as well. So I got to walk early. Um, I'll show you. They gave us our tipping the whole chair over. They gave us our little jacket for our degree, and then hopefully, if I pass all my summer classes, I will have my degree mailed to me so I can put it in my folder. Um, I will be taking 6 classes. I managed to get them all online, so I'm hoping that that'll make it a little bit easier. I start 5 of them next Monday, and then one of them will start in the beginning of June. Most of them, or 4 of them, will end in either June or July, so it's not full classes through the length of the whole semester. So I'm hoping that that will kind of make it a little bit easier, but I know that it's going to be a lot. So I don't know how much time I will have to stitch, but in some of the classes, they allow you to work ahead since they are online. So hopefully that will kind of help with the amount of classes that I'm taking. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was shout outs. My last video, I decided that I wanted to shout other Flosstubers out because I wanted to jump on the bandwagon. A lot of people do shout outs, and I thought it would be nice to appreciate other Flosstubers that I watch. So the very first Flosstuber that I wanted to shout out is Hobbies of Holly. Holly is one of the very first Flosstubers that I started watching, and I have finally caught up on all of her videos, so I'm up to date on everything, and I like her. She's very sweet, and I like some of the stuff that she stitches. They're pretty. So the next Flosstubers that I wanted to shout out is Unfinished Stitches, and this is a mother-daughter duo. It's Madison and Bonnie, and again, they're one of the very first Flosstubers that I ever watched. My friend Amy, which is she doesn't have a Flosstube, but she goes by the Maniac Stitcher on Instagram. She was telling me to watch them because my mom kept telling me, you have too many whips and you never finish anything. So she said, well, go watch them and they will make you feel better. It's normal to have a lot of whips. And so that's how I got started into Flosstube, actually. They were it started out with just Bonnie, but then Madison started joining in, and I like to watch them. They're pretty fun, and they add in like hiking videos or their dogs, which I love their dogs. They're cute. So that's actually how my introduction to Flosstube happened. Yeah, I'm all caught up on their Flosstubes too. I binge watched them, and yeah. So the next person that I wanted to shout out is the Nutmeg Stitcher, and her name is Rachel. She also kind of started Flosstube not too long ago, or I'm not sure if she restarted her, like she had done one in the past or not, but I could be wrong about that. But I like watching. She does a lot of little cutesy stuff, so I like watching her, and she's very nice. And the last Flosstuber that I wanted to shout out is the Eeyore Stitcher, and her name is Chris. I actually connected with her on Instagram, and she is actually local to me. So, hi. Yeah, so I had posted on my Instagram story about finding a virtual stitching group, and she messaged me and said, let me know. So I found out that she was actually not too far from me, so I just wanted to shout her out because she's local. So I think that's all for my Flosstube. And now I'm just rambling. Anyways, that is all for today. So if you made it this far, I appreciate it. If you didn't, that's okay. Um, I will catch you next time. Hopefully, I will actually have something done and stitched because I start my classes next week, so we will see what happens. But have a nice day and happy stitching. Bye.